I'm gonna start off by saying manga spoilers are in this video that contains spoilers that will probably be of Blue Lock Season 3, so get out if you don't want to get spoiled. Anyways, yes, you read the title right, Nagi is losing his talent. But before explaining why, I post this type of content multiple times throughout the week, so sub up and join the fam. With that out of the way, Nagi losing his talent has been a slow process throughout the series, but it's definitely been happening. Now you may ask, when did his talent start to fade? To answer that question, we have to go back to when he first showed signs that his talent was fading, back in the second selection. It would be 2-1 in the game when Isugi, Baro, Nagi, and Chigiri would be facing Rin, Aryu, Tokimitsu, and Bachira. Aryu would score a goal, leaving Team White, Isugi's team, down. In order to show his presence, Nagi would need to score a goal of his own. And he would do just that, scoring a goal by faking to shoot, but instead kicking the ball in the air and then kicking it when it descends down, a two-stage fake revolver volley. You may think that, wow, what an amazing goal Nagi had just made, and you wouldn't be wrong, but that shot was a miracle goal. Ego would give a full detailed explanation about how this type of goal isn't one that's able to be reproduced multiple times to score a goal. In other words, he can't recreate a goal like that. Even if you trained 100 times, you wouldn't be able to score a goal like that ever again. This would be the first sign that Nagi is achieving feats above his level. But just how far can this be spun out of control? Well, another more minor incident, which would show this fact, would happen in the Japan U20 game. In the game that would determine the survival of Blue Lock, they'd be down 1-0 as Blue Lock would rush out in front of the net. Rin would try to replicate Sei's shot that he scored on, but it would hit the post. Yukimiya would snag the second ball and would attempt to shoot, but then Aiki would block it, looking like a bird. Otoya would step up to shoot the ball, but Kazuma would block it with his face. Then the ball would fall down to the feet of Nagi. Nagi would trap the ball with his left foot, tap the ball on the ground, turn around and shoot, which would go in, leaving Blue Lock tied back up. Now for any manga readers, you may ask, why do I exactly think that this is a sign of Nagi's downfall? And it's quite easy to explain, especially when Baro is the best. In chapter 132, Baro finally got subbed in on the field. Him and Nagi would talk shit to each other as per usual, but he said something that would stick with me. You scored one missed goal and then died out. And when you really think about it, Baro was right. Other than Nagi's goal, he didn't play much of a factor in the rest of the game. Now with his current knowledge, you may think, alright, but this is still barely a sign of what you claim. Well, now I present to you Exhibit C of this evaluation, the most notable moment in probably the entire series. The Mangiant City vs Bastard Munchkin game. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. Before the game, Nagi would have an encounter with a quote-unquote soccer doctor called Agi. Agi acknowledged Nagi's talent and seen his potential, but there's one piece he was missing to becoming the world-class player, his creativity. Essentially, he had to level up his creativity combined with Nagi's weapon, which would make him a scoring machine. On top of that, he'd be getting a body revolution, so he had the potential to become an elite striker. During this game, Agi was on Nagi's ass due to his lack of creativity, which was kinda getting Nagi annoyed and bored at the game, as it wasn't the way that he wanted to play football. And I can't lie, this match, I was getting mad at the boy Agi too, because he's being mad annoying, but even I can see what Agi was doing was to make Nagi better. After Isugi had just awakened his metavision and got his goal stolen by Kunigami, making the score 2-1, he would realize Isugi was leaving him behind. This would lead him to asking Ryo for help, which would lead to Nagi scoring possibly the best goal in Blue Lock. After hitting the ball in the air 4 times above Isugi and Kaiser, 2 metavision uses by the way, he'd shoot and score his 5-shot fake volley. Now, this is an amazing goal, and by doing this, he had proved Ego's first point wrong. But I think everyone can agree with me this time, Ego was right. After Yukimiya nearly scored a 1v12 miracle goal, Henri would tell Ego that that goal would have boosted Yukimiya's value a lot. Ego would disagree and saying that that goal would have been more harmful than beneficial than it ever would be for Yukimiya. he'd state that this goal would do more harm than good for Yukimiya the same way it will happen for Nagi. Even for Nagi, his goal was way above his talent level, and even for Nagi, it's impossible to be reproduced. Because of the Ryo and Nagi duo, Agi would lose interest in helping Nagi, which I'm sure will do more harm than good in the long run. Even in the bathtub when Ryo and Nagi were talking, he'd go on to his new goal of becoming valued at 300 million yen. Now, with all that being said, we have to ask ourselves the question of why this entire Nagi downfall is happening, and I believe that it's because of his goal of beating Isugi. We all know that Nagi is an incredibly lazy person with no ambition, so after he scored his goal, he had no goals to be playing. And personally, I find it dumb that Nagi counting his goal over Isugi as a win is dumb because Bastard won the game. But after quote unquote beating Isugi, he has no more ambition nor goals, that even Ryo had to give him a new goal. I feel like this goal won't end up being well for Nagi, and the author will throw a curveball and make Nagi either lose an offer and losing some of his value, or having his auction raised by a little bit. I feel like it would be good if Nagi does fail his new goal at being worth 300 million, because I feel like it would give Nagi more of an ambition to be better. Teaming up with Ryo stunted Nagi's growth as a striker, and we're gonna have to see if Nagi pays the price for that. With all that being said, and all these observations I've made in the series, I think you can see why I think Nagi's losing his talent. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So that's it for the video. Subscribe, like, comment your thoughts on the matter, and I'll see you next week. Yob yob.